Ezra, it's a double Parsha this week. Let's make 2 Parsha videos, one for each Parsha.
Dan, I don't see why we should make any video at all. These Parshas are all about building the Mishkan, and we've talked about all of that already. A couple of weeks ago, when Hashem was telling Moshe the instructions. How about we just make no video this week?
Ezra, how about this? Since we're, already recording ourselves, why don't we compromise and go with 1 video this week?
Welcome to Dan and Ezra Discuss the Parsha. This week's double Parsha is Vayakhel-Pekudei.
They're also the last 2 Parshiot in Shemot. So this week we thought it'd be nice to look back on some previous Parshiot and see how they all come together. Specifically, we wanted to talk about the Holy Shabbos.
At the very beginning of this Parsha, Moshe assembles all of Israel to talk to them about commandments that Hashem just gave him in the previous Parshiot, especially about the building of the Mishkan.
But before he says anything about the Mishkan, he reminds us of a certain holy day. Sheshe yamim taseh melacha, uv'yom hashvi'i yeh lechem kodesh Shabbat Shabbaton laHashem, kol ha'oseh bo melacha yumat. For 6 days, melachot may be done, but the 7th day shall be for you a Shabbat Shabbaton, a day of complete rest for Hashem, and anyone who does melachot will be put to death.
Then, Pasuk Gimel forbids the lighting of fire on Shabbos. We'll come back to this, but when we heard these Pasukim, we had a little deja vu.
Ezra, that's a horrible joke.
Aren't they all? Anyway, we had the strange sensation that maybe we've heard about Shabbos already in the book of Shemot. A couple of times, actually, including last week's Parsha.
Ezra and I decided to go take a look at each of the places where Shabbat is talked about in the book of Shemot, and we discovered some interesting ideas. We want to share a few with you guys.
The first place the Jews learned about Shabbos was back in Parshat Beshalach, when the man began to fall.
Each day of the week, an identical portion of manna would fall from the sky. But on Friday, 2 portions of manna fell to the ground, and the people wondered what was going on.
When they went to ask Moshe, he told them that tomorrow was meant to be a day of rest, a holy day for Hashem. He then tells them to prepare for this holy day by collecting food and storing it for tomorrow.
That's all Moshe tells them. At this point, they don't know anything about the reasoning behind Shabbos. They don't have any prohibitions about Shabbos yet. All they know is this vague notion of a rest day that they must prepare for, and that is holy to Hashem.
The next time we hear about it is in the Aseret HaDibrot in Parshas Yitro. Here we get a commandment regarding Shabbos itself, not just the manna. We are charged with remembering the Shabbos.
But not just remembering. We are now given the prohibition, don't do any work on Shabbos. Lo taseh kol melacha.
We also get a reason behind Shabbos. Parshat Yitro tells us that Hashem created the world in 6 days, but rested on the 7th, and therefore he blessed it and sanctified it.
But notice what we don't yet have. We have no idea what the prohibition of melachot actually refers to. If you ask an observant Jew what the prohibitions of Shabbos are, they'll probably tell you that they are the 39 melachot, the categories of work that went into building the Mishkan.
But we don't have the Mishkan at this point. The 39 melachot haven't been introduced yet. So here it can't mean the same melachot as we know today. We'll get back to this idea in a minute.
The next time Shabbos was mentioned was last week's Parsha, Ki Tisa. Here we learn some critical details of what Shabbos means to Hashem and what it must mean to us.
At this point, Moshe is charged with the responsibility of telling the nation to build the Mishkan. Suddenly, we have this massive, holy building project to do.
But Hashem emphasized the importance of Shabbos to Moshe by telling him that even though you have this Mishkan work to do, Shabbos takes precedence.
Now we get some idea of what the melachot are. Shabbos is now tied to the Mishkan. We also get another meaningful reason behind Shabbos. When Hashem stopped on Shabbos, he wasn't just sanctifying the day. He was sanctifying the people that he made.
Shabbos is a weekly sign, Oti Leolam, a reminder of the eternal covenant, Brit Olam, that Hashem made with the people. Shabbos is starting to develop into what we know today.
But there's still something missing. In these mentions of Shabbos, the prohibition work is manual labor, connected to creating the Mishkan. But the Shabbos we keep today includes way more than that. I can't turn on a light switch on Shabbos. I can't paint a picture. I can't play an instrument.
Ezra, you can't play an instrument during the week. Anyway, there's still something missing. But in this week's Parsha, we find it. Pasuk Gimel tells us that we can't light a fire in any of our dwellings, Bekol Mishvotechem.
Think about it. Why is this pasuk here? It seems kind of random, even out of place. But when we view it in context of the overall evolution of Shabbos, we realize that it teaches us an important aspect of Shabbos.
Lighting a fire in your house isn't work like building a Mishkan. You light a fire in your house because you want heat, or you want to cook, or you want to see at night. They wouldn't have called that work.
We think that this pasuk is telling us that Shabbos isn't about work. It's about milachot, man-made creative activity. And that includes things like watching TV, which could help you relax.
As we've learned through this evolution, the essence of Shabbos is recognizing Hashem and His covenant with us, including the creativity that Hashem gave us.
We recognize this by stepping away from any creative activity for a day and focusing on the connection with Hashem.
As a kid, I always used to complain to my parents saying, if Shabbos is about resting, then why can't I turn on the TV and relax? Well, this parsha teaches us that Shabbos isn't just about resting.
Stepping away from the world of my phone and my video games helps me step out of the world that man has created and focus on the world that Hashem created for us.
It's a huge part of what makes Shabbos so beautiful and meaningful. So, have a beautiful and meaningful Shabbos.
Thank you for watching all of our Shemot episodes, and we can't wait to start the book of Vayikra next week. Chazak, chazak, v'nitzchazek.